Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the XFL Show, the video cast that X out all other podcasts, because we're not a podcast, we are a live video cast. I am one of your hosts, Dirty, and my co-host right there is my partner in crime, all the way from the great and lovely city of Arlington, Texas, the one, the only.
No, Houston, baby, Houston.
Oh, you're in Houston? You're in Houston
forgive
again?
me. Forgive me with my voice today, because I'm a little out of it. So,
Are you sure you're in Houston?
I promise you, I'm in Houston, man.
Are you sure?
I promise.
I don't know about that, dude. I thought you were in Arlington. Oh no, that's right. Your name is Arlington. That's right. I forgot. How are you, my friend?
My voice. I don't know what's going on with my voice today, but other than that, I'm okay.
You sound like a clown, but that's okay. We still love you. It's all good.
I didn't know clowns could talk. Ah!
Good one. Anyways, we are coming to the second half of the XFL.
We made it, folks. We made it.
Well, have we really? Hold on. Have we really yet?
You think anything catastrophic is going to happen within the next 2 days?
I mean, you never know. It's America. There's no telling what happens. And, Bozo talked. Bozo the clown talked.
Entertainment purposes.
Oh,
so,
gotcha.
I'll let y'all have that one. I'll let you have it. Okay.
So, yeah, look, Krusty. The clown talked.
All right.
Ronald McDonald talks.
Oh gosh, was he really the clown? Okay, but go ahead.
Yeah. Here, Champ says get some hot water.
I do. I probably need some.
Get some hot water. But anyways, we unless something major happens, we are going to finally move up. Sideshow Bob talked.
We're not gonna get into that.
You gotta love our fans.
Our fans are something else, man.
Brian Stahl talks. But anyways, beside the point.
Wow. Okay. Week 6 is here.
I talk. Dirty talks. Okay.
Week 6 is here, folks, and there's a couple of signings that happened just a little while ago. Arlington Renegades finding some wide receiver help getting Victor Bolden. And then the San Antonio Brahmas need themselves some quarterback help. So Kurt Bankert is now back in the XFL. So granted, the Brahmas needed to make some moves. The Roughnecks needed to make some moves themselves because they need a little bit of receiver help. Down that Jonte Kirkland is out for the rest of the season.
So here's my question. Let's talk about the Bolden signing, because that might actually be the biggest one of them all, right?
Yeah, it is.
Are we sponsored? The mayor wants to know, are we sponsored by Zoa?
I got the hat on today, so yeah, there you go.
I mean, I know that our
primary sponsor.
Well, no, I know our show in Vegas was sponsored by Zoa.
I'm just wearing the Zoa hat today.
Yeah, gotcha. So, I mean, look what shirt I'm wearing today.
Yeah, I guess that's a team that's on the rise. Is that why?
Yeah, well, when I go to San Diego, because I will be missing the game in St. Louis to San Diego, and when I go to San Diego, right, I will not be representing on April 16th. I will not be representing my my St. Louis Battlehawk shirt. I will be representing, because I am going to be on the great West Coast of the United States. I will be representing my Sea Dragons shirt and my Vegas Vipers shirt while I'm in San Diego.
Now, this conversation, I just happened to see.
Bring it on.
It was brought up. So we're going to talk about it just a little bit.
Bring him. Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
No.
But we'll
talk about that.
Bring Cam Newton.
No.
Give me Johnny Manziel. Give me Cam Newton. Give me Colin Kaepernick in the XFL. Give it to me. Give it to me.
I don't need it, man.
Give it to me.
Don't need it, dude.
Yeah, anyways, I want to talk about the Victor Bolden thing. USFL MVP of the championship game signed. Right? Now, the question is why did it take so long for him to get signed to the XFL? Or was it that he got out of his contract with the USFL? I mean, a lot of things there are a lot of things in there to figure out why that had happened, and it's very interesting. And I think that the team he went to, Daryl Johnson wants to know why you don't want Cam Newton in the XFL. Well, I mean, because
we'll talk about it later.
Arlington's a hater. He doesn't like Cam Newton.
It ain't. I don't like Cam Newton.
He's a Cam Newton hater. He's a Colin Kaepernick hater. He's a Johnny Manziel hater. He doesn't want, more quality football. That's all it is with Arlington.
More quality football? Okay.
Yes,
yes. I'll let you have that one.
A big player from the Birmingham Stallions. You're absolutely right. He was. Hey, listen, you're right. Cam sucked in the NFL, but he'd be great in the XFL. Kaepernick sucked in the NFL, be great in the XFL. Johnny Manziel sucked in the NFL, but be great in the XFL.
So he turned positives. He turned the negatives to positives.
Yep, you're damn right. I did. What about Teddy Bridgewater's is doing great in the NFL.
The NFL, he's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, like the mayor says, was Bolden released by the USFL at the start of training camp, or what was it? Very interesting to see. I'd love to get him on. You're right. Cam and Johnny, football and Cap can no be worse than Slaughter and Lynch. Absolutely, Mr. Johnson. I agree with. That's why Arlington doesn't like those three guys. He's a Kyle Slaughter fan and a Paxton Lynch fan.
Exactly.
Listen,
I'm all for the guys who's already in the XFL.
Right. They might as well sign Uncle Rico. I'll take Uncle Rico. I'd love to see Uncle Rico play in a game. God, stupid.
I could have sworn they used your likeness in that movie.
Eagles have talons.
Yeah.
Talons.
Yeah.
Seeing Victor live playing, he was super fast. Hey, he was very fast in the USFL. And
how quick can he adapt to this Arlington Renegades offense? That's gonna be.
Hold on, it's wrong. I wanted this one. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean. He's kind of like Luis Perez. He's kind of carved himself out a niche in the spring football thing. Yeah. So I think he can adapt. And it's Jonathan Hayes and Chuck Long. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I mean, listen, their playbook isn't very hard. You know what I'm saying? It's not not a lot. It's probably maybe 10 plays total. They probably have a jet sweep to the right, jet sweep to the left.
Jet sweep to the left.
A draw up the right, a draw up the left, draw up the middle, a 5 yards out route. So, I mean, we're talking 5 plays for the Renegades, basically.
Any passing plays in that part?
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably just say, hey, listen, go out there and play sandlot ball. So I don't think it really will be hard. I mean, but it's going to be interesting to see how this works. I mean, what do you think? I mean, I think it's a big deal. Because it kind of shows that, hey, if you're not going to do it in one league, I could go over to this other league.
Oh, good morning, Kevin. I guess I'll look at it from Victor Bolden. He did have a couple of training camps that he was able to participate in, and uh, it's always a second chance. That's what the big marketing ploy is: second chance.
Oh, they have a marketing.
54.
They have a marketing employee in the XFL.
Yeah, that was employed by Dwayne Johnson. I
Oh,
never
okay.
got my shot.
Oh, okay.
54.
I was just
Player.
checking.
It's about player 54, right?
Uh
So
huh.
Victor Bolden getting a shot at it. Hey, what's wrong with that?
Now, do you agree with the mayor says here? Bolden to the NFL is a better springboard via the XFL than he had in the USFL.
I don't know. That's according to the USFL, who had a commercial that was out indicating that it's Hollywood, and you know what? Shout out to Awful Announcing that put that out there. But y'all were like a couple months late, maybe 3 months late, because they put that commercial way before the Super Bowl. So they were already poking fun at the XFL long beforehand.
Are
So
you
catch up.
talking? Let's see. Are you talking?
This ain't some big Hollywood production. This is real football. That one, if you can find that one for me, that was done 3 months ago, and y'all just now saying something about it. They already made that one. That's it. The one right there. Yeah, hit that for me.
This is courtesy of Awful Announcing. Boy, their website's running really slow.
This is for the real ones, the fans that live for this. This is the USFL, reborn from the OGs. This isn't some Hollywood knockoff. This is Dragons, USDA prime time football. Just ask these guys.
You better recognize the real.
Except no substitutes.
Now, see, what I find interesting in that one, right? If you look at that, did you see who was in that commercial?
Yes.
Who?
Howie Long and Michael Strahan.
Where does Michael Strahan work?
For Fox.
What
and Disney. And they work side by side. Correct? Or is that? Thank you. So it's kind of interesting how they utilize him, and he's on both ends.
Uh-huh.
You work for a Disney product and you work for a Fox product, but they wanted to use it for the Fox football type stuff.
Uh-huh. So yeah, I think it's funny. I mean, what's going to be interesting to see, and here like Marco, who is a huge Renegades fan, right here. It's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to play out for the XFL. I mean, you're talking we're halfway through the XFL season, coming into week 5, which we'll actually break down here because we got about 2 more minutes to talk about this. But we're going to break down the following year of how we think it's going to go. But it's very interesting that's who you sign Victor Bolden, you get some of these other big players from the USFL. Like, how is this going to affect the rest of these leagues? Because in 4 weeks, or 5, 6, 7 weeks, the XFL's done.
All right, and the USFL's on. As a matter of fact, I have received some information today.
I do too. Do you want to go into that as our next topic then?
Sure.
Okay. So
it's the head-to-head.
Yes, let's go into the head-to-head.
Because folks, it's coming up next month. It's coming up next month, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it came across my desk today.
Well, let's give courtesy and let's give thanks to the mayor, who is a huge spring football fan, and he made this up. He's like, hey, because I know I talked to him about the ratings and the TV ratings and all that, and I know Arlington, we've talked about it on the show. Well, here it is. Here is your list of. Let me see let me do this. Oh, there we go. Let me zoom in a little better. Is that better?
Yeah, a lot of people can see that. That's
so
cool there.
Let's really talk about this, Arlington. So as you see, as we got it, so let's explain what the yellow means to everybody first before we move on, okay? So the yellow is for your non-resident hub city teams, okay? And the blue is designated as the visitor while playing at home, okay? Yeah, Phil, we just talked about the Brahmas signing a quarterback We just did talk about that, and we'll touch on it a little more too. But now let's really look at this. The XFL is if you really how you want to look at this, Fox could sit here and say that the XFL is a knockoff Hollywood, right? But the XFL has a team in every single city across the United States. Okay,
Right.
and across the United States.
They have 8 teams.
The USFL is west of the Mississippi. They have no teams, or they're everybody east of the Mississippi. I meant they have nobody west of the Mississippi, right?
If I'm correct here, is it like a straight line down?
Pretty much, the Mississippi is the cutoff for the.
You got
USFL.
Michigan, Ohio, right? Memphis and Birmingham.
Well, Phil, we're getting ready to tell you because people want to talk about TV ratings and attendance
competition
ratings,
and all that type of stuff.
This is why we're going to talk about this to see how we think this XFL is going to do within these next 7 weeks, basically, right? So now the XFL has one more week of no competition in the spring. That's this week, right?
Right.
And Arlington, put that ticker up of who's playing this week.
There it is at the bottom.
It comes right here. So this Saturday, this is the last week that the XFL has no competition for spring.
No, it's still going. It's still going. They'll have competition. I mean, it's still going, man.
Who do they have?
Because remember, they're not starting to April, right?
April 15th. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh, 2 weeks.
We're still March, dude. We're still March.
Right, 2 weeks. So that's right. So we'll worry about that. Okay, but let's look at it. So the first week is April 15th, is that they're going to have the major competition. And that first game that we have will be the Vipers and the Roughnecks on ABC. Smart choice. You're right, Mayor. I apologize. You're right. I mean, here, look, Jared said that he goes, I'll watch the XFL or USFL after the XFL championship. I'll watch highlights of the USFL. That's great. That's cool.
You say that now, but we'll see what happens when it gets down to it.
Exactly. So anyway, so this is smart here. They put that game on ABC, right?
Correct.
Now, and then that same day, basically after that game is over, let's just compare the top two teams.
The only competition on that day is Guardians, Brahmas, General Stallions.
But do you know
one game is going to be on Fox, the other is going to be on ESPN too.
Exactly. Now, here's what I'll say. The Guardians and the Brahmas will have more fans in the stands. Well, no, because they're playing in Birmingham.
Exactly.
So yeah, that one's going to be a toss-up. But here, as much as it pains me to say it, I have a feeling that Saturday, the USFL is going to win that rating, that TV ratings that day, because of what channel they're on.
Exactly.
It pains me to say it, but that's just how I see it.
But when you put it on a linear channel, a non-cable network.
Houston plays in Memphis?
Correct.
Houston plays in Memphis. So
they're playing, but it's still far away.
Right, yeah, it's still far away from me, Phil. I get it. I get that you think that the hub model is broken. But there's a reason why I'm going to explain all this, and then I'm going to tell you why it is this way for both teams in both leagues, right? So let's go to Sunday. So now Sunday we're neck and neck, right?
Yep.
It's the Defenders and the Renegades and Defenders going up against the Panthers and the Gamblers. Now the Gamblers are the home city, but they're not playing in their actual home hub, right?
Uh-huh.
But again, look who the two teams are. ESPN.
No, the networks, yeah.
The networks, ESPN or NBC.
So that means if you want, you're gonna have to watch. If you're saying that the XFL should beat the USFL, and they're not, because they're not going to. The thing is, you have to divert all your attention to ESPN, not watch anything off of NBC. I'm not saying don't do that, but my thing is, if you're going to say there's a competition, one is going to be on network television and another one's going to be on cable. So there's a difference. And you look at this day alone, it's going to be 3 cable games on both sides.
And again, I hate to say it.
Just say it, man. Don't even jump up. I hate to say it. We done. We passed that. We passed this now.
I think NBC is going to win the ratings because of where it's at. Because it's on.
Right. Exactly, Steve. It's not even a difference anymore. That's what that is really where we're getting at now.
Right. It really isn't. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, if you look at it, it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. I mean, I think
now
Sea Dragons and the Battlehawks on ESPN, I think that's going to be huge. You know what I mean? And they have been. The XFL has been, up there in the top rated for the television.
Yeah, they have not gone past 75, I believe.
See, look right here.
100.
NBC versus FXL.
That is no comparison.
I mean, again, Fox versus XFL, no chance. And this is why I'm saying here, unless you are a diehard XFL fan, you're going to watch the XFL games more than you're going to watch the USFL games. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm just going by a national audience of how it's going to look, right?
Right.
And as much as I hate to say it, I think
Stop saying it. Just say it.
Anything that's on the national networks, because you see it in the pages, people are like, well, how can I watch a game? I ain't paying for cable. I'm not paying for ESPN Plus. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, again, Phil, you can say it's a pointless conversation. Both will draw what they draw, and no one will live or die based on the numbers. You're absolutely right, but the XFL and the USFL will live or die on these numbers. They're going to see who's going to actually do better. The USFL has been taking shots at the XFL left and right. So that's what I'm saying. If you are a true XFL fan, then you need to be watching these games. Because here, I'll put it to you like this. The World Baseball Classic, where a lot of sports fans that said baseball is dead, drew 4.9 million people on FS1.
And that's worldwide. That's a worldwide number. You got to remember that a lot of countries are watching this stuff.
Yeah. And again, yes, Church, I'm actually gonna believe what you said, because of the things that you do is that the broadcasting networks are getting less ratings than cable. Quit buying into the over-the-air broadcast network and have some pull. They don't. Listen, I agree with you. I hope it doesn't happen. I'm just telling you what I see on the pages that people are saying. Let's see like this. It says, no league has separate TV deals already in place. The numbers aren't going to kill the XFL, not in the first season.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the point is this. We got to stop making a comparison. But we showing you why you need to stop making a comparison. That's what we're doing.
Right here, what Ann said. We just got ESPN Plus just to watch XFL games.
So stop making the comparison. If you want both leagues to succeed, you're going to watch both, right?
Exactly.
That's what we're getting at. If you want both leagues to succeed, you're going to watch both. It's not going to matter about the numbers. But, of course, those two guys are going to worry about those. They're not going to close up shop because of it, but they want to see what they can do. So then the next season, they're going to see what they can do, hopefully, to see what they can do better. No, we're not spending 20 minutes, Phil. We're not spending 20 minutes talking about this.
Send Phil a link. Let's get Phil on the show. He's always wanted to come on the show. Send Phil a link. We'll get Phil on there because Phil loves it. I think it's just going to be very interesting. The USFL is at 4 neutral sites. So, but here's the thing. This is why we brought this up, right? Because you go on Facebook, you see all these people talking about, oh, the USFL is better than the XFL. The XFL is better than the USFL. Oh, you got the USFL fans. Oh, look at the XFL ratings. They're going down. You got the XFL fans looking at the USFL attendance going, oh, you guys can't put anybody in your stadiums, right?
Right.
And you're right, as of right. But you know what? Listen, Fox is buying into it. Fox is buying into it because of what they did. The XFL is buying into the one hub city where, where's the thing with Michael Lathrop? Did you see the thing that Michael Lathrop just did, Arlington?
What you mean? Was it online?
Yeah, he went to Twitter, so I'm going to go to Twitter. Here's what we're saying, though, is look, there's going to be a lot of football. A lot of football is left over for you guys to watch. How much? See, like right here, look what Jared says.
Yep.
It's plain and simple.
Oh, you talking about the one he just put out about the broadcasting deal?
Yes. Do you have that? Pull that up. Actually, I got it right here. So, I'm gonna go to it, which is actually a really good. It's actually a really good article because that kind of breaks into this, and this is why I'm gonna show you that this really doesn't matter, and this is what we've been telling you guys, that none of this has the matter. Here's what the good doctor says. Read that while I look up this.
Here's the truth. The media wants to see XFL fail because of The Rock. Look at all the articles. It points out The Rock's greatness, hate, much like great. All right. America thrives off seeing stuff. I'm not repeating that one line that he got on there. So take it down. Because he already know how much I don't like him either.
Mahomes is a joke anyways. I mean, anybody that likes Mahomes is an idiot. So here's the article that Michael Lathrop, this is courtesy of Player 54, Michael Lathrop. This is on The Athletic.
This is XFL. The Athletic.
Well, I'm getting off.
Is that my guy? Is that my guy Dan? That ain't Dan. That's where this article is.
It's Bill Shea. Oh, let's bring him on, Mr. Loudmouth there.
What's up, Phil?
Right.
Now, Phil, let me explain something to you. See, now you're on the X Fan Show. I'm not as nice as I am when I'm on other people's show. Just giving you the heads up, pal. Okay.
So what is the deal? You guys are talking about how we don't need to talk about this. It doesn't matter, but you're going to spend a huge block of the first few minutes of your show, the part that people check in on, to talk about it and go over it. Yes. Come on, man.
So that way we didn't got to talk about it no more. Right. One time deal, we move on. That's how we do that.
You're talking about it. You're giving oxygen.
We had to. So people gonna ask questions about it, Phil.
You're giving oxygen to this conversation more and more and more. Just, it doesn't matter. Both of these leagues have their TV contracts in place for the foreseeable future. They know what they're going to draw. They know what they're up against. They've done all the models on this. This does not matter. This is not a conversation we need to spend 20 minutes at the beginning of our show talking about. Hey, that's ridiculous.
Phil, you know what? I like that shirt, buddy. You look kind of stylish.
Thanks. I'm at work.
I mean, other than the Cowboys get up you got behind you, you ain't too bad of a guy.
But this is just for clarity, man.
Here's the reason
it matters. It matters.
Here's the reason why
Thank you.
Okay.
It matters.
Everybody's talking about, which league's going to survive right here. Now, because I was trying to pull up The Athletic, but here's what the XFL broadcast deal will be worth by the end of the year. See everybody here saying burn the Cowboy merch. He's right. He goes, he's right. We do need to spend 40 minutes on it. LOL. Shut up, Kevin. You're an idiot. But the XFL's TV broadcasting for this year alone will bring them in $100 million to $150 million. So when we've said on this show, and Phil, you guys have said it on your give a cheap plug to Smoking Guns podcast.
Smoking Guns podcast. Already. Smoking no G, guns with a Z, POD. Go find us.
Yeah. But like you guys have said on your guys' show and all of that stuff, right? They don't care if there's people in the audience. They don't care if there's people in the games, attending the games. They just care about the TV deals. And when you're talking $100 to $150 million, those TV ratings in that last 7 weeks of the XFL season and the first 7 weeks of the USFL season are going to be very important for these two leagues moving forward. Can you deny that?
No, but I will point out that I did not say that on my show. You said that on my show. So there's a difference.
I was giving you credit, Phil. Jesus, man.
They're going to pull in the numbers they're going to pull in. I truly believe, I have nothing to base this on. I truly believe that Danny and Dwayne and Redbird Financial looked at this first season and said, we're going to lose money. We know we are. But this is a petri dish. We need to see what times work. We need to see what networks work best for us. We need to just throw that's why everything's so out there. You get Thursday night games and Monday night games and FX and ESPN2 and all of this. They're going, what works? And then they're going to come to the table in the offseason with ESPN and go, okay, how can we tailor this best to fit you and us? And so this first season is it's an experiment. And so the USFL, they have their own experiment going on, and I dog on it all the time because I think the hub model is stupid for the fans, but it is what it is. They have done their research and say this is going to save us X amount of money, and this is the way we need to get into spring football. This whole putting them up against each other in the XFL and the USFL are competition. They're not competition. They're broadcast. They're stuffed for NBC and ESPN to put onto the air so that they have content. That's what they are. And
that's what we've been saying. And people are so stupid that they constantly go online and talk about, oh, wait till you see the competition. Wait till you see the competition.
Neither one of these leagues are going to kill the other league. They may kill themselves.
Right.
They may die because they're not successful, but it's not going to. The XFL is not going to succeed or fail based on the USFL.
I 100%.
Thank you. Because that's why we try to tell people to stop. That's the reason. You just nailed it, Phil. That's exactly. So we could kill the conversation. That's what we're doing. That's why we're wasting time. That's why we're blowing all this smoke.
All the time to blow smoke to say, look,
that's the reason.
Here's the real stuff over it. Neither one of these two leagues care about each other. Yeah, of course they're taking shots at each other.
Right.
We know that there are enough football players out there. I mean, here, like Jared just put up here, right? He goes, Phil must be loving that Kayvon Turpin from the USFL, FFC, and the European Football League was your guys' Pro Bowler for punt returner with the Cowboys. You know what I mean?
Look, I've said since the AAF days, we were big in the Commanders and the Alliance of American Football. If you've never read Jeff Pearlman's book, Football for a Buck, The Crazy Rise and Fall of the USFL, go read that. The NFL, the football as a whole, is served by having a developmental league or more than one in the spring in the United States. Sam Mills is a Hall of Famer now. He has a statue outside of the Carolina Stadium. He's the guy that created the whole keep pounding thing that the Panthers do. Yep. Sam Mills would have been nobody in football without the USFL in the 80s. He got cut off the Browns, and Jim Mora signed him onto the Philadelphia Stars, I believe, and he went wild in the USFL. And so when that fell apart and Jim Mora went to the Saints, he brought Sam Mills with him, but Sam Mills got cut. He was done. There are tons of those stories. There are Hall of Fame
Jim
NFL
Kelly
players that we have missed out on, that we have never seen because there wasn't an opportunity like the XFL, USFL, AAF, whatever. Those players are out there. So football is served by having this, but this idea that
the mayor says the alliance is dead. Please,
come on, man. Listen, you can't. He cannot. I'm a defend Phil on this one. He can't because of San Antonio. That's the reason why you can't keep it out of their mouth, because of the Commanders. They put a lot into the Commanders. It's hard to just say keep them out of your mouth when they were all in with the Commanders.
The current XFL that we are all supposed to be talking about all the time right now on these shows. The current XFL owes some of its legacy, if it is successful, to XFL 2.0 and the AAF, because they were both turned out to be these dry runs of this is how it should work. The AAF, we learned, hey, you need money to run a football league. Who knew it? But that's what you need. And then the XFL had things mostly right, but there were some areas, some markets that just didn't work. New York didn't work. LA didn't work. Tampa didn't work. And so they moved some things around based on the data they had from the AAF. AAF and XFL 2.0 are really the parents of this XFL iteration
All right,
that we're
now
talking
let
about.
me ask you guys this: you guys both living in Texas, right?
Right.
And every there, the good doctor says the problem is the product is too watered down. Are we starting to water down football? Is football starting to become too watered down in your guys' opinion? Both being from, Phil, you lived in Houston you lived in Texas your whole life. Arlington,
Yeah.
you just relocated to Houston a few years ago. So Arlington, we'll go with you first. You've been in Houston now, what, 3 years now? Has it really been
Just
that long?
about. Just about.
Yeah.
Just
So
about.
Arlington, you see it. Is it starting to do you feel that it's starting to
Absolutely.
football watered down?
Absolutely. Because think about how the quarterbacks in other leagues, they're getting bigger numbers than what they used to get in the 80s and the 90s, right? So they're making sure that the quarterback is able to stay on its feet, right? So they're making sure that they're getting 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 yard passing seasons, right? So now even with leagues like the XFL, they want to make sure they do the same thing because they want high scoring games. They want less penalties, even though they're not getting it right now. But that's a part of what Phil was saying, the experiment is what's going on, especially within the USFL. They want high numbers every single game. You know what I mean? So it's a watered down product because remember, we focused a lot on defense. There's a reason why we have for the longest time, Mark Gastineau from the Jets had 20 something sacks. And then we talk about old players like Deacon Jones that was able to get to the quarterback like that. That has been taken away. So yes, the game of football has been watered down just so it can make it greater for audiences like you and I.
All right. Well, let's Phil, the longtime Texas resident you guys eat, sleep, and poop football in Texas. I mean,
This guy does. I don't know about anybody else.
What's your take on it?
Yeah. So professional football is getting a little watered down, but there's a positive side to that in that the cream will rise to the top and the larger leagues will get better. Somebody mentions arena football on here. That is very watered down. If you ever go watch arena, it's fun. And here's the thing about minor league sports. Minor league sports is competition based. It is a parity sort of league.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas up in the upper leagues, up in the major leagues, they try for parity, but nobody actually wants to see parity because you don't want to watch a World Series that is Tampa and Cincinnati. Like nobody wants to watch that. You want the teams that you either love or hate. You don't want the teams that you don't care about, but that's neither here nor there. That's a bigger. It is getting watered down because it's minor league.
But I watched
football.
The Cubs play in the World Series.
It's minor league football, and minor league baseball is great to go watch, but no one position on your lineup in baseball can kill your team. Minor league football is different because if you don't get a quarterback, it doesn't matter how good the rest of your team is. For instance, the San Antonio Brahmas are good everywhere but their quarterback, and they're no good. They're not a good team right now. They need to fix the quarterback position. Now, with Reed Sinnett out, they just signed somebody today. He's not going to play in the next week or two, you wouldn't think. So I don't really see that as an option. But that can't. Your team can rise or fall based on one position. So it becomes tough, especially at the quarterback position for minor league football to not look a little watered down. But it's competition versus competition. It's not going to be the NFL that we're watching football-wise, but we're going to watch teams that are basically on the same level.
Let me
respond to that.
Hold on. This is the X-Fan Show. I am one of your hosts. Dirty, sitting right there next to me on the top is my partner in crime, my lovely co-host in Arlington, Texas, the one and the only.
You keep saying that, Trey. Why you keep saying that, dude? You know I'm in Houston. I've been in H-Town, man.
And right below us, who is joining us, we're just going to have him on for the rest of the show because now we're going to talk about the season, and he wants to comment on this one. One of the hosts from the Smoking Gun podcast that is with the Z. Go find them on stuff. Phil, right here. People were praising Cone the first few weeks. Now you guys want him gone.
Okay.
I mean, look, right here, look, another guy right here. Cohen's a good QB, needs strong coaching like he had in Notre Dame. Ooh, Phil.
Jared also says, put up that
this
very
last
last
one
one
too.
too.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me about quarterbacks when I'm a fan of the Guardians. Here's the problem with the Guardians quarterback situation. Turns out you had the guy you needed all along, but you accused him of stealing plays and selling them to other teams and tried to kick him off the team. And the league had to come in and step in. Like the Guardians, the most dysfunctional thing I've ever seen in pro sports is kicking your best quarterback off the
chicken
team.
Salad.
No, chicken salad will always remain the worst. Nothing. There has nothing on chicken salad at all.
Steve Spurrier.
As far as Cohen is concerned, I was actually one of those. If you go back and watch our show early in the season, both Leo and I on the Smoking Guns podcast were like, hey, give this guy time. He's careful with the ball. He's having he's having a lot of fun. He seems very confident. He has regressed. And so Jared talks about, y'all were fine with him early in the season, and now you don't like him anymore. Just go back and watch the film. He has actually gotten worse. He has regressed.
This is about
Dormady. Yeah.
He's talking about Dormady right here.
Yeah,
hey, you needed a spark, and he provided it. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being the best quarterback option that the Guardians
out that group.
Have. Yeah,
exactly.
But as far as Cohen is concerned,
except player regression, student poor coaching.
That is correct.
To poor coaching. Yeah, I mean, Phil, I will say you have been very critical of Hines Ward as of late on your guys' show, as Arlington and I have been on this show. So going into week 6, right? I mean, let's really look at this. I mean, you guys still kind of aren't out of this. You could still beat Arlington. That would put you right, get close. And then you guys have the Vipers, which with the way the Vipers are playing, they don't look like they don't look like they're a beatable team anymore, right?
Yeah. I mean, they are.
Yeah, and then
they played really well against Orlando. Everybody's played really well against Orlando.
Well, that is true. That is true. You got a point. And then you guys play Houston for the first time
in San Antonio.
Then you play the Guardians, and then
DC.
You guys play DC. Now, where do you think your Brahmas? How do you think your Brahmas are going to end, man? I mean,
here is what is maddening. Here's what is maddening about the San Antonio Brahmas. Any offensive production at all, and they win 3 of the 4 games they've lost. Anything.
That's true.
A field goal, a random drive that gets them a touchdown. Any offensive production through the whole 60 minutes of the game, and they win those 3 games. And what's crazy about that is if they catch a spark or they hit things just right, could they beat a Houston? Yeah, they could. They won't, but they could. And that's what's maddening is I'm once again finding myself connected to a fandom. You see all this stuff here. The maddening thing about the Dallas Cowboys for me year after year is, are they going to win the Super Bowl? Well, no. But they have the talent. Like they could figure it out and get lucky. And despite their cowboy nature, win a Super Bowl. And in the same way now, the Brahmas, are they going to make the playoffs? Like they could. They won't, but they could.
But like you said, it all goes back to QB1. That's where the big issue is right now for San Antonio. They can't find out who's QB1. Jack Cohn is not the guy. Reed Sinnett was trying to be the guy. He's now injured. So now they signed Kurt Bankert, to give relief back to Jack Cohn, because right now he's not going to have a lot of information on what to do unless they tell him, hey, just play street yard football and go out there and do whatever you can to help this team win. He's not going to do it right away.
San Antonio has already come out and said with the injury of Reed Sinnett that Jack Cohn will be the starter going forward. To me, Juwan Pass, Kurt Beckert, whoever you're going to hire, whoever you're going to sign, whatever you're going to do, I would rather see you try anything but Jack Cohen. Jack Cohen's not going to win games for you. He's just not.
Right. You're going to have to try Juwan Pass, man. He's been sitting there, waiting. I know he's been training. So I'm like, what's wrong with utilizing him in this case? He knows the playbook.
Let's look at Juwan Pass though. Does he have it there mentally?
The only time will tell.
Well, but we're not in practice. We don't see what's going on. I have gotten some information from a guy who overheard a player say that Juwan Pass has everything he needs to be a starting quarterback in this league from the shoulder pads down. But from the shoulder pads up, nothing. Like he just can't do it. He can't grasp it. He can't do it. Now that was overheard from a player, at a meet and greet event this weekend. So I don't know. Players have their own opinions about things. And so that may not be the way the team sees Juwan Pass. But if that's what other players on the team are seeing, that means something.
It is. You're right. This is the league of opportunity. So, why not try it? Maybe you.
I'm all for it.
You could go with a 2-system quarterback there in kind of like you're doing up in DC with King and Jordan. Maybe
I'm all for it. My thing is Hines Ward and his team, his coaches need to sit down and look at their quarterback options and say, what is always the question at quarterback? What gives us the best chance to win? With Jack Cohen, I have zero chance to win. I'm not going to win a game. He's regressing. He's not good. With Juwan Pass, I have some unknown chance to win. Is unknown better than nothing?
So yes. The new guy.
So you take a shot.
So this is from USA Today. They signed Kurt Benkirk, former Green Bay Packer, is what he was. And let's see. Just kind of trying to read his stats. He
was a 49er. He was part of the Houston Roughnecks for a small minute, then chose to leave the game of football, and now he's been asked upon to play for the Brahmas.
Had a pretty solid season in Virginia as a quarterback, but there are a ton of really good college quarterbacks that don't do anything in pro leagues.
That is true. Like Ryan Leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. This is a league of opportunities unless you do cut somebody off. So, but that's beside the point, Arlington.
Well, exactly. Like you have to have a reason why you're cutting someone off. Not just go cut them because you just want to cut them.
Well, I cut them off because they monopolize too much and when younger people are trying to get their questions out there. So I cut them off. I don't care. But anyways, beside the point, look, we saw that, Dormany came in, made a spark, right?
Right.
We saw that Hundley came in and kind of made a spark in his first game with Vegas. I wouldn't be surprised that if they don't put Kurt in this game, maybe in the second quarter against the Renegades. It wouldn't surprise me if they do it.
It would worry me on a viability of the professional football league if you can sign a guy on Thursday, play him on Saturday or Sunday as your quarterback. Like that would worry me.
Well, has anything Hines Ward done not worried you yet, Phil?
No.
Exactly. So there you go, Phil. This is the XFL. Has anything the XFL done up to this point made any sense to you?
Oh, the XFL is fine for the most part. Like there have been things that I would have done differently, but I have different goals. I have different ideas of what this league should be than.
Hey, look, the mayor said it right here. Mayfield won it for LA on 3 days.
That's true.
Look here, Paxton Lynch to the Brahmas. First,
so we'll send them to the Brahmas for you.
We're good.
Hey,
we're good, Jared.
All right, so let's talk about it, Phil. You're the Brahmas fan. I just gave you the rest of their schedule. How do you think they're going to end up? Right now, they're at 1-4. They have 5 games left. How do you think they end up?
As a fan or realistically?
Realistically.
Okay, realistically, I think they can probably pull 2 more wins, maybe.
So I'd put them
That's
3
what I was thinking. That's what I thought.
As a fan, if I take that hat off and I put on my Brahmas hat and put on my Brahmas shirt and become a real fan, I think you can beat Arlington. I think you can beat the Vipers. And I think you can absolutely beat the Guardians. And I think in San Antonio, you could beat Houston. I see a possibility of 4 of the next 5 wins as a fan. But realistically, I think they probably got 2 more, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, Orlando's a win. And I really think either Arlington or Vegas, but maybe not both.
So
unless they figure something out.
3 and 7,
Yeah.
then, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
So now let's do this. So Arlington, where are you at? Is that what you? I kind of agree with that. Unless they fix something, I don't see them going no more than 3 and 7.
A spark on offense is all it takes. If they figure out offense just like that, and that happens in football,
that is true.
all of a sudden it's a completely different team, and all of those expectations are out the window because they've got the defense and they've got special teams. If they figure out offense, it's game on.
Yeah, Arlington.
Before you talking about from the Houston Roughnecks standpoint, is that what you're looking for?
Okay, you want to do Houston? Okay, let's go to Houston. So Houston, you guys have DC this Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Then you go to the Battlehawks come to Houston.
Yep.
Win.
Then you have Roughnecks go to San Antonio on the 9th.
Loss.
That's what he want. But go ahead.
And then you come back home on the 15th for the Vegas Vipers.
Win.
And then you end the season in Arlington with the Arlington Renegades.
Win.
So you gave, 3 wins out of that group? Because of
3 wins and 2 losses.
2 losses. One of them was the San Antonio, right?
Yep.
Realistically, I said 7. The fan in me believe it's going to be 8 or 9.
Okay.
So, because if you look at it, they can pull around and get an upset off of DC, but that is definitely a tall task. Now, with that said, week 7 they got the Battlehawks. If they lose to DC, they're going to want to come for blood at home against the Battlehawks, right? So they'll pretty much knock them off if it leads to that point, right? Then you get to week 8, you have San Antonio Browns on the road in the Alamo Dome. Now, that's going to be a tough task. You know,
are you gonna go to that game, Arlington?
I'm thinking about it. I am thinking, but I wanted to go to that Vegas game in St. Louis on April the 8th, but I might just do San Antonio instead. All right. Then they got the Vipers. They'll dispatch them. So I'm gonna go ahead and dismiss that. That's a win. And then they got Arlington, which I already believe they can knock off the Renegades because they've done it already before.
Bo Callahan showed out.
He will not get off of that. He will not get off of that. So that's like 3 to 4 wins. So 8-2 is a good place, and 7-3 is a good place because either or they're going to win the division.
Okay, well, you guys are both wrong, and I've always been right, and I'm always right. So I'm just going to tell you this right now: the Brahmas are somehow going to pull it out, and they are going to go 5-5, and they are going to win second place in their division. And then
you're giving them hope.
No, it's going to happen. You watch.
Wait a second. How was I wrong? That's exactly what my fan side of me said was 5-5.
You said 3 and 7, Phil.
He said realistically. He's saying this idiot is saying it's 5-5.
I'm telling you the truth. 5-5. They are in second place, losing the first round to Houston, who goes 8-2. That's all I'm saying.
I know what he's doing. But go ahead.
Now, the Battlehawks, right?
Yes. Now this ought to be interesting. I didn't hear this one.
They sit at, what do they sit at right now?
3-2.
3-2.
The most
Be realistic. You said it.
3-2 ever.
Be realistic.
They should be 1-4.
They really should be 1-4. They lose to the Vegas Vipers. Go to 3-3.
Okay.
Then they lose to
the Roughnecks.
To put them at 3-4.
Okay.
Then they come back to then they come home to St. Louis to play the Vipers. They win to go 4-4.
Okay.
Then they go and play Seattle here April 16th.
Ooh.
He's going with Danucci. That's why he's doing those stupid dance.
Comes into St. Louis and just balls all over the Battlehawks, and they move to
4-5 at this point.
4-5. And then they play the Guardians, and because they are so deflated about being destroyed by the Neuter, they cough up the first win to the Orlando Guardians.
Oh my God!
They blow it. They end up in third place in the North, and Seattle goes to second place with a record of 6-4 against the only team that I literally now think can go undefeated, the DC Defenders.
So you said 4-6 is what the Battlehawks.
Does Ben DiNucci end the season with more touchdowns or turnovers? Not interceptions, turnovers.
Turnovers.
Tied. He ends it with tie. He ties. It doesn't matter. The Nooch will be the MVP of the league.
Especially if he throw for 3,000. If he throw for 3,000 yards, he'll be that.
Pass for 10,000 yards, and 4,000 of them are going to come against the Battlehawks. And goes, I will never watch.
Hey, 3,000. If he does get the 3,000, it won't even matter, Phil, about the turnovers. If he get the 3,000 yards and he has more touchdowns than picks, it's a cinch. They're gonna give it to him.
It's gotta matter. I mean, turnovers have to matter. What is the deal?
I hope Abram Smith run over the XFL at this point.
Doesn't matter.
I have watched football all of my life, and I have never seen you take a less talented team up against a more talented team, turn the ball over 4 times, and still win the game.
Win.
How does that happen?
Nooch is like Brett Favre. Pretty sure he's going to show his wiener in training too.
Hey!
The mayor says points count. Turnovers are just a bonus for the haters. The Nooch for the MVP. The Nooch MVP for the XFL. Actually, no. The Nooch ain't going to – as much as I love the Nooch will be the Offensive Player of the Year. Abraham Smith will be the MVP of the XFL.
He's looking like it right now, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Jacob Pearson?
I hope so.
That'd be good because young, small, short guy, and boom, he just takes off.
And goes, now that I'll watch that with the Nooch showing his junk. All right, so let's go. We got our 3 teams out of the way. Let's go to the other Texas team, the Arlington Renegades, who right now sit at what are they sitting at? They are sitting
3-2.
3-2. They're sitting at 3-2. And here is their remaining schedule, guys. Let's see. So we know they play the Brahmas week 6.
Lost.
Okay, Arlington, shoot it off. You're going to L2. Okay, so that puts them at 3-3. Renegades versus the Dragons.
Loss.
Yeah, that's right. The Neuter, baby. The Neuter. I'm going with these 2 losses in a row. So now we got the Orlando Guardians in Orlando. Dub. Okay, so that puts them at what?
4-4.
4-4. And then DC week 9.
Loss.
So that puts them at 4-5. And then they played the Roughnecks.
Loss.
So guess what that means, sir?
6-4. Like I said, the Browns are in second place, losing to the Houston Roughnecks in the first round of the playoffs. So I guess we all agree on that one, right?
He'll get a training camp. The good doctor. He'll get somebody. Hey, don't be surprised if the Chiefs will mess around and get him.
Oh God, if the Chiefs get Smith,
I'm telling you,
I will no longer
a free agent tryout and he mess around and make the team.
I will no longer like Smith.
He's going to get a training camp. And I'm just saying, somebody that could utilize a running back is the Chiefs. They could use a power running back they wanted to.
The problem is running backs are just a dime a dozen in all
true.
Of these leagues. Like you can get them for nothing.
You would know, Phil, because of one Ezekiel Elliott. That's a dime a dozen. No, I'm not trying to poke, but he would know because of what they've been doing with him.
Let's go to my second favorite team after the Brahmas. The Sea Dragons.
The Sea Dragons.
They sit at 3-2 right now, and here is their remaining schedule. Okay. Let's go to week
Orlando.
6. Orlando. The Nooch throws for 500 yards that game. 500 games, 5 touchdowns, 5 turnovers.
Okay, we don't need to know the stats. We just need to know if they're going to win. Seattle and Arlington. Dub.
Wait, are you guys saying that Seattle wins against Orlando?
Yes.
Dub.
Okay, so that puts them at 4-2. Renegades.
Win.
Orlando.
Dub.
So that puts them at, what does that put them at now?
5-2.
5-2, okay. Then they play DC, but they're in Seattle. I'll take the L.
Yeah, I think it will be one of the better games in the league.
Right. I just think they'll take the L.
All season, but yeah, they'll lose.
Yeah, they come to St. Louis. W. No, W. They W.
Yeah, I think
it's going to have to be dub.
That's the game. That's the game Nooch throws for 5,000 yards.
No, I was going to give him an L. I don't care.
And then they play the Vipers.
A dub.
So that really puts them at 7-3 in second place, playing against the Defenders.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then they'll get mauled against the Defenders in DC.
That is true.
I don't know. So there's one issue with that. We just gave the Defenders 2 wins. They've already got 1 win. We just gave them another. Do you know how hard it is to beat the same team 3 times in one season?
That's true.
Oh.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
The mayor says it right here.
He says East Sun is all about resurrection for Seattle. I love it. So let's say week 6 they do beat the Roughnecks, right, on Monday night.
He goes, Danucci may struggle here, and Gordon gets lost at the dispensaries.
So let's say DC wins against Houston. That's 6-0, right? They're going to dispatch Orlando, right? Mm-hmm. Seattle's going to be the tough one. I said that they would win that one, so that's 8-0 for me, right? Mm-hmm. So they'll beat Arlington. That makes 9-0, and then the Brahmas, you know they're going to dispatch them. Come on, man. 10-0.
I'm going to have to change. I'm going to have to change and say Seattle beats DC in week 8.
Okay.
Because I don't think they'll go undefeated. Somebody's going to have to beat them at least once. And then that sets up a playoff game where either team could win. Viva Texas. Gosh, I love that. I love that in my fan heart. I love that. I would love to see that happen. I would love to see that happen.
Right, yeah.
That'd be great. I'd love it.
Yeah, that would,
I mean, look, if there is any team that I think on this list right now that can beat DC, that is going to happen if anything, it would happen this Monday.
You think it's Monday?
It would happen this Monday. I don't see it happening.
Seattle in week 8.
Seattle maybe, because if you go back to the game.
They're going revenge from week 1.
I mean, again, that was another close game, 22-18.
They're going to want revenge from that. And plus, even though what you got to remember, and Danucci has to remember this, when they get to play DC, is Michael Joseph loves to play in coverage. Mm-hmm. You gotta move, use your legs, make him come out of his comfort zone. So and make that front 7 uncomfortable, man. The way the Defenders are set up with a strong defense and a incredible running game is exactly what Hines Ward was going for with the Browns.
Yes.
That's what he meant to be. Execution didn't work out, but that's exactly what he tried to set this team up to be.
Yeah, and that's true. The mayor's got a good point. No lemonade in Seattle. They're not allowed to sell lemonade after the lemon toss debacle in DC. This is the X Fan Show. I am one of the hosts. Dirty sitting right over there is my partner in crime, the one, the only,
the A-Train Arlington Lane, and we're happy to have from the Smoking Guns podcast, Phil Hogginbotham coming on and joining us a bit. And dude, you always welcome to come on the show.
Just can't have the cowboy stuff behind you anymore, bro.
Man, that don't matter. It don't matter.
We've all got our teams. Look, I love my Dallas Cowboys, but I will be honest. The fan base in the NFL I cannot stand is also the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that is true. I love my battle.
I love my team.
Hey,
my fellow
I
Cowboy
just my
fans.
fandom, folks.
Look, I love my Battlehawks, right? But God, do I hate the pompous clowns in St. Louis. We are some pompous clowns, me included.
For a team that is winning right now, you would expect a lot more fandom to come from this, right? You would expect it.
And with that being said, we're just going to cut Arlington off and we're going to end the show here. See, that's how you do it, Phil. When your co-host says something you don't like, you just cut him off.
I like my co-hosts. Oh, both my co-hosts are awesome. Sorry.
I hate him. I hate him too. I hate him. I've always has, man.
We got lucky and we got 3 really good people, and you got 2 people that, aren't that great.
I don't like him, man.
I mean, it all balances out.
Hey, you need another co-host? You need another co-host? Phil, we can replace Dirty in a heartbeat.
Nah, if we're gonna put a 4th person on our podcast, it's gonna be Viva Texas. We had him on a couple weeks ago, and that was a blast, man.
See you later.
This is the X-Fan Show, and
enjoy the games this week.
Yeah, you got my co-host over here who I'm getting ready to place, and you got that guy down there from the Smoking Gun Podcast.
He's gone.
Yeah, go watch their show Monday nights. We'll see you.